Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Pierrified vlog, where I like to discuss the joys and challenges of living with a disability. Now, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 10. So, thanks for sticking around for these episodes so far, and here's to many more milestones in the future. Anyways, because it is episode number 10, what I wanted to do today is like a top 10 kind of thing, and I'm going to do the top 10 things that I have used to help fight the normal degeneration of muscles that comes with muscular dystrophy. And the first one, or the first item, and these are in no particular order, by the way, but I will be saving the best for last. Now, what I want to start off with as at number 10 is exercise. Now, there aren't many exercises that I was always able to do, but I decided to stick with those and do those as much as I can. So, for example, when I was in high school, way back when, basically my buddies would want to go to the gym, and instead of just waiting for them or sitting in the cafeteria and eating, I would join them during lunch or after school or whatever it was. And basically, like I said, there wasn't that many exercises that I could do, but what I could do, I made sure I did, and I did a lot. So, for example, I think the lat pull down was the easiest machine. I could just drive up my chair, put my hands up, reach it, and just do that. And I probably did about 100,000 of them at least in my high school career. Even until this day, I still do some exercise. I have an arm bike that sits right over here on my desk, actually, and I just use that about 10 minutes a day, 5 times a week. Basically, is what I do, and it's great. It's just something good to keep the heart pumping, blood flowing, arms moving, work up a bit of a sweat. It's great. That's honestly wonderful, and I think that is something that if you are fighting with any sort of degenerative condition, that is very important. Another thing is a support group. So not just family and friends. Don't get me wrong, family and friends are awesome and amazing, and everyone needs a support group made up of family and friends to help to do a couple of things to basically push you, to support you whenever you're going through tough times or whatnot. And it's great to have. But also not just family and friends, but also a support group of people that are going through the same thing that you are. And that's actually one of the reasons why I started this blog, just to help get some awareness out there and talk to some people that are going through the same thing that I am. Another thing is invest in yourself, and I think that's wonderful. Like, I know having a physical condition, we focus so much on the physical, and we tend to ignore, our minds, our mental health, and that sort of thing. So what I suggest is make sure you work on your mental health as well. Talk to somebody, and just get your things off your chest and that sort of thing. But also invest in yourself. Like, read books. Education is something that I chose to invest in, and I decided to get a degree as well as my master. So that's very important, and it's more important than the whole education part of it. Just to put some investment in yourself, and part of that is, and that just leads into the next item, and that's just socializing. You know what I mean? Being in school for quite a few years, just build your network of people, get to meet a whole bunch of cool people, and that sort of thing, and that's just wonderful, and that just helps you feel better because you're talking a little bit more about yourself and about your situation and that sort of thing, and it really inspires people, and I think that's awesome. Um, the next thing, item number 6, I guess we've gone on to, is ask questions, right? And I mean that when you're, quite often you're sitting down with your doctor, and when you have a physical condition, you are spending quite a bit of time with doctors and nurses and that sort of thing. And I suggest to ask as many questions as you can. Really get to understand your diagnosis and really understand the different things that can help, that can improve, and all that stuff. And just ask questions, know the side effects, know the benefits, and just figure it all out before you decide to take any sort of treatment. Just because you'll understand it better, and in the end, when you understand it better, you will try harder, and it will help improve your quality of life. Number 7, it gets harder and harder to do this as you get older, but that's traveling. So what I would suggest is get out there and travel while you can. One of the best experiences in my life came in Mexico a few years ago when I rented a chair that floated in the water, and I just sat in the ocean for hours. Yes, I did burn my feet, one of them pretty badly, and that's a whole other blog story or blog post on its own, and I'll be sure to be sharing that eventually because it's pretty funny, the things that happen with that. But it's just awesome to get out there, meet different types of people, experience different cultures. It's just wonderful, and I know it gets harder and harder as you age, but please, I suggest do it as soon as you can and as much as you can before it gets really tough. The next two items basically kind of go hand in hand. And remember a few weeks ago, I did a post on asking people for help. So definitely don't be shy. Don't be afraid to ask people for help. I used to get into arguments with friends saying, hey man, we can help you. We can do a bunch of stuff, but I would kind of be shy and shy away from it. Don't be shy. If there's something that you can't not do, please ask for help and people will gladly be willing to help. But on the flip side of that, I guess what are we at? Item number 3 now. On the flip side of that is help yourself. What I mean by that is there's many things that you can still do, and because you can do them, by all means, do them until you can no longer do them anymore. And I've talked about this before. As a kid, I knew I wouldn't be able to throw a football around for much longer, so what I did was spend as much time as I could throwing a football around, just to kind of say goodbye to it and just to really enjoy it, just to put in your memory so you know. Um, sorry, that is something that you enjoy. All right. Sorry, that was some lightning and thunder, but let's move on here. And item number 2 is breathe. Now, one of the things of having Duchenne muscular dystrophy is it affects your lungs. So one of the things I like to talk about, or that I want to share, is breathe. I know there's a bunch of machines and all that stuff that help, but what I would suggest is, after speaking with your doctor about them, use those machines, but also make sure you take some time to breathe on your own and just enjoy it. Oh, it's wonderful. Anyways, sorry. And the final thing, item number 1 is faith. Faith that basically you're put in this situation because it makes you who you are. And that is very important. And another reason why faith is so important is because with this condition or any sort of degenerative condition, things are always changing. Your muscle strength, the way you do things, your daily life is always changing. And it's so nice to have something solid like faith to anchor yourself to. So whenever you get into, a little rut or whatnot, or you start to feel upset that, things are getting harder and harder, just know that you have that anchor in your faith. All right, so that concludes our top 10. And like I said, I'm hoping that we continue on this journey and have a whole lot more episodes coming down the line. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week.